I've written down the things that we need to look for
right
in the record.
Because here's the problem too. I went through complaints, and when I spoke to them, they basically determined that everything has to get sent back to your office. So, do you see how, the allegations I can make? Because what's happening is I sent my complaints into compliance, and they send it over to complaints. And now complaints is looking through it, and every single issue I bring up, the complaints say that it has to go back to compliance, it has to go back to legal. I'm not sure what legal has to do with it, but so you can kind of see I send the issue out to you. I guess that's your office, but I think you understood the issues. I mean, that's the problem I had with complaints. I spoke to Renee, and I don't think the issues are, which is kind of what I pointed out on my letter. I need to really discuss the issues with someone, to whom it is within their scope. So it's really, someone who really, is in complaints. I don't think, because I was trying to ask her simple questions like, what's supposed to come in patient history? Now, this is like basic second-year medical school stuff. And it's all over the internet. It shows, from a variety of medical schools, the kind of stuff you're supposed to have on patient history. But okay, I think it's almost like 5 o'clock. You're trying to get out. But I think, so
I will keep in touch.
Right. So I think Renee is going to talk to you tomorrow, I think. Is that how it is? Hello?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, for me, the most important issue right now is not going to be the compliance issue, because the three providers, Dr. Dar, Dr. McCarthy, and Dr. OK, I need to speak to each one of them on the phone. Now, can that be arranged? Because I need to know my complete health status.
What they'll do is they're going to go through it, and they'll have to do an investigation on their end. And then you will be notified. Then they will go through the complaint piece by piece. But
okay.
Get the other side of this.
Right. So I have no right to speak to those doctors to know my health status. I don't want to know about those issues. I want to know about my health status. So I want to know my health status since you saw. I'm not sure if you saw the EKG. Anyone see? I understand. But
not a nursing person.
Right. But anyone seeing that would know. I guess you have to read up what an EKG. I guess. But if you look at it, as soon as it goes into a little bit of stress on the exercise mode, that thing goes off. And so this other doctor, Dr. OK, he's basically hiding all the information. So that was the main point I had, which is basically he's hiding half the reports. So what looks really bad is what came up after the test ended, which would mean what happened before the test ended was a lot worse. So that's the kind of stuff I need to get from him. How would I just, because I know your rules are that the doctors have to answer my questions, right? So Dr. OK, I just saw him, and Dr. McCarthy referred me to him. So if I need him to answer my, and you can see, I asked him a simple question. I even wrote it down. How is my EKG different from a normal 44-year-old man? And he would not answer that. I mean, isn't that like the most basic question someone wants? So I'm not asking him something so complicated. It's just, how is my test different from normal? And he doesn't even want to say that. So, I mean, is there any way I need to speak to a doctor? How would I speak to a doctor? With the problems they have caused, I don't want to go into a doctor's office. I like to discuss the issue at least for half an hour on the phone with the doctor before going into a doctor's office. So can I do that with a doctor? Is that possible?
You have a relationship with that doctor, right? You've seen him.
Yes, but Dr. OK, right. But what if now Dr. OK, he's already refused to even see me in his office. So that sheet I was mentioning, how is my whatever not normal? So as soon as I showed him that sheet, he actually said he doesn't want to discuss the issues anymore with me. I have to go see another doctor. This is after 2.5 months of seeing him and him doing all the testing on me. So he had the so really quick, he had the same issue as Dr. Dar, and his was worse. He didn't even know who the other provider was, but he found out in another way. So he too made the unauthorized contact. And the funny thing about his migraine diagnosis is it showed up on the 3rd report. I have migraines up and down the report, and then when I asked for the records on the 4th report, miraculously my migraines disappear. So yeah, well, I do have the issue in court, and I'm trying to go after the actual original. So I'm trying not to expand what I'm doing. So so really, hopefully, I don't have any problems with anybody else. And so that's what the issue I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to limit it to suing just one party and not anybody else. So if I can get my information, my basic information, which is just my medical test, that was so simple, because that stress test, if you go for like an airline pilot exam, you have to carry that report with you. And this doctor did not even print that out, and he actually went in and wrote down, I showed it to you where he wrote down, I will not print out any more reports. So it's like, so what do you mean you will not? And he actually wrote it and he signed it. So he's really going to be responsible. And so, yeah, I mean, the compliance issue is really like a second issue. I really need to understand that, I think, like you were saying the same thing, that you do not understand that EKG, which is, no patient is going to understand that test, but everything you see on it looks really bad, because if you look it up, what those numbers mean, they mean really bad. So you know it's really bad, you go into your doctor, you ask him to, what it is, and immediately he says he doesn't want to see you anymore. So yeah, I like to see another cardiologist, but I like to, or any doctor who can discuss with me over the phone before actually going in. So that's the thing I want to arrange first. I need to know my health status, because that stress test, because that aortic aneurysm is the kind of thing which is anywhere between 1 and 17 years you have the problem. But the other thing it looks like is, when I'm doing activities, it really looks like I'm making it a lot worse. And if I'm making it a lot worse, I really want to try to limit some of the activities. Because what I was telling Dr. Dar right from the start is, as soon as I got the problem with that medication, the very same hill I would walk up with just a few days before and didn't have a problem, all of a sudden I had shortness of breath and sweating. So maybe I shouldn't walk up that hill. Maybe that was good advice, but none of the doctors gave it to me, and it looks like by walking up that hill repeatedly, exercise, I guess, is not the best thing for the heart if you have some kind of a heart condition. So, so that's the kind of information I need to get. If you can kind of arrange, like, any doctor who's willing to just discuss at least that report. I just want, so we're not going to get into any of the migraine or any of the other stuff. Just the issue for that EKG, the stress test, if any doctor can help me understand that report. And I'm going to try with my primary care, but he seems to say that he doesn't understand it, which I don't really believe. I think it's medical school stuff, and he doesn't need to be a cardiologist to do it. But okay, I'm going to try with my primary care tomorrow if he can explain it to me. And if he cannot, I can call you back, and if I can get some experts, someone who can interpret that for me. Okay, because the other doctor didn't give me an interpretation. He's supposed to issue an interpretation, and he didn't give an interpretation. And even the results he sent to Dr. OK, the primary care, he only included the first visit and the last visit, and he completely left out all the testing. So my testing is really, that test is really what I need the answers for. So if some doctor can answer like a few questions on the phone, that would be really good. So I'll just talk to my primary care and see if hopefully he can answer my questions. And if not, I don't know how you can work it out, because I wouldn't really have a relationship with that other doctor. I just need to understand that test.
Right. Okay. All right.
So it's more like I think. Okay. Oh, just one.
Number, so I have it here.
Okay, my phone number is 240-475. 7737. Now you do have, is there any kind of, because I read somewhere that there's something where you can get a second opinion, and you can also get like a second opinion remotely, say from a doctor from Wisconsin or something. Is that possible to have a doctor like in Wisconsin or somewhere just review my records? And
I don't think I think they have to be certified with DHMH that they can do remote, like teleconference kind of care, and they have to be registered with the state, so I think they have to be here in Maryland.
Okay, so for the second opinion, so would I actually have to go into the doctor's office, or can it just be done remotely as long as
you probably would have to go in for a real second opinion.
Okay, so I would have to go in. Okay. Yeah, so let me just try to work it out with my primary care, and I think Renee is going to get in touch with you tomorrow.